Just wait for the. Okay, welcome everyone. It's 6:30 p.m. First item on the agenda is a closed session portion of the meeting. May I have a mover and seconder to go into closed session under the authorities as printed in the agenda? Councillor Muir, Councillor Park. Okay, being at 6:30, all in favor? Seeing all hands rising, motion is carried. Okay, everybody has the other link to go into closed session, so we'll log off now and then come back once at 7 p.m. Okay, we are back from closed session. Council discussed personal matters and some potential litigation. We will not need to go into closed session after the meeting. Okay, time being 7:01. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Council of the Township of Red Rock hereby acknowledges that we are on the traditional territory of the Robinson Superior Treaty, and the land we gather on is home to the Red Rock Indian Band, the Anishinaabe, and the Métis people. Okay, administration advises that there's no new additions to the agenda. Do any members of council wish to make amendments to the agenda? Okay, seeing none. Can I have a mover and seconder for a motion to approve the agenda as presented? Councillor Park, Councillor Muir. All in favor? All hands rising, motion is carried. Are there any declarations of interest to disclose? Okay, seeing none. We have no presentations for tonight. Okay, the minutes of the last regular meeting, December 6th, are at items 5.1 of the agenda. Are there any errors or omissions to note in the minutes? Okay, seeing none. Are there any errors or omissions in the minutes approved at the from the closed session? Okay, seeing none. May I have a mover and seconder for a motion to approve the minutes at items 5.1? Oh. Councillor Park, Councillor McDonald. Okay, all in favor? All hands rising. Sorry, a little out of practice here. I'm trying to look at all the screens. Okay, where are we here? Okay, the next matter is item 6.1, is a resolution from the other municipalities. Do any members of council wish to support these resolutions? Councillor Muir?
Yeah, so with regard to both Sarnia, I was not sure. I was looking for a little more detail on what they're talking about, catch and release justice, if we could. I think I have the gist of it, but and then with regards to the Southgate, so they're asking to get rid of the exercises for emergency management. Are they talking about completely getting rid of it or having tabletops? And I was hoping the CAO could chime in on what his thoughts were with regards to how to approach something like that.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe they were talking about getting rid of it if you had an emergency in your community in that year. That was where if I'm not mistaken, I can definitely bring back more information on that, but I believe that was the gist of it, where a municipality, if you had an emergency in your community during that year, it was going to exempt you from having to go through your annual compliance for that year. I guess it's something that used to be out there as a law, as a legislation, but then was changed.
Yeah, definitely that makes sense if you've already had one that year and it's done. But yeah.
So if you had an actual emergency in your community and you went through the whole process of going through an actual emergency, at one point you were exempt then as a municipality from going through your required annual compliance piece. And then that became something that wasn't legislation anymore. And if I remember correctly, that's what they're looking to reapply based on this resolution.
Okay.
But we could definitely bring back more information on both, but that would take a call, because this is basically what we get is what we sent, was what we show you, right? So, but we could definitely find out more information. That's not a problem.
Are there any other questions or comments, or does anyone want to go through the motions and approve these motions right now, or do we want him to the CAO to come back?
I think that a little bit more information on both of them would be nice to make a decision.
Okay. Okay, so Mark, if you can come back, I guess, with any further insight on this, and then we will go from there.
Yeah, I mean, we can reach out to both municipalities, or the municipality that I guess generated the initial request, but that won't be a problem. We can get more information if need be there.
Okay, moving on to 6.2 is information purposes only. Do any members of council have any questions? And this is the Red Rock Historical Society, their newsletter. Seeing none? No. Okay, moving
I just
on.
want to say, I think it's cool that they brought that out now, just as that new gas station's there. So it's kind of cool to see the history of it and the way it is.
Yeah, especially for people that aren't from around here or are new to the area, correct? Yeah. Okay, moving on, the next item, 6.3, is for information purposes only. Aqua will be making a $250 donation to the Red Rock Fire Department's Toys for Tots initiative. Do any members of council have questions of the CAO? Seeing none. Okay, moving on. Item 6.4 is information purposes only. Do any members of council have questions? This is Hydro One, a 5-year investment plan. Councillor Muir?
No questions, just a comment, but it was nice to see that. It's really nice to see the infrastructure upgrades. So good things are going to be coming.
Yeah, and I try to share this as much as I get of this with you guys, because I mean it all comes through my desk, so it's nice to be able to share it to you, just so you have some of that regional information on things that are going on as well. So I try to share as much as I can get, or what I feel pertinent that is something you may be good information for you.
Councillor Tedesco, did you have a comment or a question? You're on mute.
How am I doing now? There we go.
Good.
There's a lot of information there, and when you really read between the lines, I think there's tons of opportunities for our community if we can get some further communication with, particularly with Wendy. She seems to be head of that ship.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, moving on, 6.5, information purposes only. Do members of council have any questions? This is an update from the DSAB board. Okay, seeing none. Item 6.6, information purposes only. Do any members of council have questions? This is Ministry of Infrastructure, Building Ontario. Councillor Muir?
Yeah, just another good program, more money coming to the north. So it's looking good.
Yeah, that was a nice piece of information to receive as well. I agree.
Okay, moving on, 6.7, information purposes only. Do members of council have any questions? This is MPAC, the 2022 municipal elections. Okay, seeing none. Item 7.1, minutes from the Environmental Committee's meeting, November 4th, 2021. Do members of council have any questions? Seeing none, do I have a mover and seconder for motion to receive the minutes? Councillor Tedesco, Councillor Park. Okay, all in favor? All hands rising, motion is carried. Okay, 7.2 is minutes from the Red Rock Public Library Board meeting on October 19th, 21. Do members of council have any questions? Okay, do I have a mover and seconder for motion to receive the minutes? Councillor Muir, Councillor Tedesco. Okay, all in favor? Okay, motion is carried. Okay, 7.3, minutes from the DSAB meeting on November 17th. Do members of council have any questions? Seeing none. Item 7.4, minutes from the DSAB meeting on November 18th. Do members of council have any questions? Councillor Muir.
Yeah, sorry, your worship. I had a wastewater collection there. So with those sewage pumps from lift station to with the raw material, has the township sent out a reminder to all homes to not flush anything except for toilet paper and raw waste?
I'm sure we can ask Public Works, Director of Public Works, when he's up during that time. If that's okay. Okay, moving on. 8.1 is a report from Director of Operations. Do member of council have questions of Mr. Westerman? Councillor Muir.
Yep, sorry about that. Just to back to that one. Sorry, I was reading the notes. Got a little ahead of myself.
So Blair, how often do we send reminders to residents about what they should be flushing, they shouldn't be flushing, or do we? I know we have in the past.
Yeah, it's been sent on one occasion at least, but I plan on creating another notice just to hand out to those upstream residents from the particular wet well we're talking about. There's only maybe several households, but we'll try and make them aware of the issue that we're seeing there pretty chronically.
Okay. Councillor Tedesco, do you have a question?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, you hit, there you go.
There.
There.
One of these days. On page 2, Blair, you mentioned the staff electrician was needed to address lights. Who is the staff electrician?
Dave Parker.
Is he part of staff?
He's been our staff electrician for quite a few years. He's on the payroll.
Thank you.
Just as a part-time employee when we need him.
Okay.
Like on contract.
I guess so.
Any other questions of Mr. Westerman's report? Okay, can I have a mover and seconder? What am I saying here? For a motion to approve the report. Councillor Tedesco, Councillor Park. All in favor? All hands rising. Thank you, Blair. Okay, next item 8.2 is report from Community Development Officer. Do members of council have any questions of Ms. Davis? Very detailed report. Oh, Councillor Muir.
Yeah, I just wanted to make note with regards to H that taking over the trail itself. There is some things in there that need to be looked in a little further. I mean, with regards to local emergency services, I mean, we do have a level of service that the township provides, and certain things such as snow plowing and insurance. So I think that's something that I'm hoping Mark could look into further with regards to that situation there.
So we have reached out to the insurance company and we have a bulletin that they released. It's a public bulletin that goes to all municipalities that they insure regarding public rinks and rinks on, I guess, moving water, creeks, ponds, and lakes. So we do have the requirements that they have. There's no additional premium cost to the township. We just have to have certain things in place should we go about that. And one of those is an ice rescue plan. So it's essentially making sure that in the event that there is an ice rescue, we have something figured out already. I'm still working with the Marine Conservation Area for what theirs looked like when they operated the ice trail in a sense. So we're still working back and forth with Parks Canada for what they had versus what the township requires. So if I'm still working on that piece, but if there's anything else that you guys have questions about, please let me know so I can provide that information for you before we do make the decision to whether or not the township is going to take this on. Essentially, if we were hiring a contractor to plow it, they would have their own insurance requirements. So we're hiring them typically with any other contractor. The contractor has their own insurance. And so parks or the Marine Conservation Area would essentially be covering the cost of the ice trail. The municipality would essentially be responsible for managing, building, and maintaining it.
Councillor Muir.
Yeah, so it goes back to that that plan there with the ice water rescue thing. It wasn't in, it's not currently in the level of service that the township provides. So would it be through the OPP?
Yeah. Yeah, it would be through the OPP. So those are discussions that are on my radar to have to figure out what exactly that plan would look like. But once again, waiting for the bones of an existing plan so we don't have to reinvent the wheel on these plans and policies that another organization has used.
Councillor Tedesco.
I would like to know, is there going to be additional staff required for maintenance or do with what we have right now? I presume Public Works would be doing that.
A member of the township, so essentially if say I was the coordinator for the ice trail, I would go down and do the monitoring, or we would have a designated person do the ice monitoring. After there's criteria for after weather events, whether or not there's been a warm spell, a snowstorm, etc., to determine what needs to be done, and it would be the contractor to plow it. So that's kind of essentially all that would be needed. Really the only thing that we would need from Public Works is if we need to bring the loader in to do the initial plow, which I believe was done in the past when the Marine Conservation Area ran it. So it would be very similar to what was done when the Marine Conservation Area was running the ice trail.
So no additional staff would be required.
Compared to previous years, the only thing would be the ice monitoring.
Good. Thank you.
Which is weather dependent.
Okay, is there any other question? Oh, Councillor McDonald.
Sorry, just a quick question. It's on the staffing also. So do we have enough manpower to organize this? Like, is there some kind of approximate hours that it takes to do this? I'm just wondering about, you know, like, do we actually have the people to organize this and run this and do their regular job on top of this?
So the main job, so we're talking with the Parks Canada organizers before. Blair, if you see any difference in manpower compared to last year when it was run, if that's the same for based on last year and what was required of the Public Works Department, is that something that you see we can manage again this year?
I would think so. I mean, like you said earlier, we just did the initial plowing with the loader to open up the trail because of the amount of snow on the ice already. You know, it's hard to, it might not even require that depending on how much snow we get in the next little while. So that was basically it. A few minor things I might have provided, but nothing major.
And then it would be, sorry.
And then it's up to the contractor to keep the trail plowed and serviced.
Okay.
So I don't see it being an issue, say, if I took on the responsibility of doing the ice monitoring to go out with the auger and check the ice thickness after a warm spell, a snowstorm, etc. I would, like, based on what Parks Canada did when they were running it, it was maybe 5 hours a week maximum.
Okay.
So I don't see that being an issue for the 2 months of operation.
Right. Okay.
Councillor Muir, I believe.
Yeah, so just for the estimate of the $6,000 for plowing, is that just going to go for public tender or just get a
Yeah,
few
so that
quotes
would be a
from-
public tender. We'd still
Yeah.
have to go to abide by municipal procurement policies, so that would be made public. So that's based off of inflation on previous years with the increased fuel costs. With the weather, unless we get a full week of -20 or so, honestly, I don't see us being open until the end of January, early February, because we need at least 17 to 20 inches of good quality ice to bring the loader out into the marina area. And especially with the landing being kind of like the weakest point, making sure that we have the appropriate ice thickness, we do need a good cold spell to make sure that happens. So that $6,000 is based off of 3 full months of operating, where most likely this year we're looking at 2.
Okay, last question, Councillor Muir.
Sorry, I have 3 more questions. So the last question is, I know is the design going to be similar with the curling rocks? And is there an area in that bay where we can put it so there can be some ice to skate on in the event that, you know, things continue the way they're continuing, where people can actually go and play a little hockey?
Yeah, so we can consult with our recreation committee if, depending on where that stands, what the actual design is going to look like. It also depends on the thickness or the quality of ice in the various points around the space within the break wall. So initially I was thinking a similar design to last year that seemed to work with the space for the snowshoe obstacle course, the curling area, etc. But if when it comes time to actually build the trail, then we do have some flexibility on what's actually going to go down there.
That's what I promised last. It just, so the ice riders, I guess we could probably expect the ice riders happening outside of the break wall. So things are looking good, right? Things are looking good.
Yeah, the ice riders happen on the outside of the break wall. The ice trail happens inside the break wall. And Parks Canada would once again, their plan is to hopefully have the family day events like they have previously, but that's still kind of up in the air, COVID related, and what they're programming, what they're allowed to do for programming. But kind of best case scenario, that is something that they have shown interest in doing. And also the township can do, essentially because it is ours, we can offer whatever programming we would like to do down there. So the only really additional cost would be signage, the safety signage, and or whatever promotion we want to do. So I will keep you updated on that information as it comes in. Once we have all of the information, they're going to be writing up a memorandum of understanding or a contribution agreement that will be brought to council to decide on if we are going to move ahead with this, if this is something that you guys want to take on.
Great, thank you for that, Ashley. Do I have a mover and seconder for a motion to approve the report? Councillor Muir? Councillor McDonald? All in favor? Sarah's not on my screen here. Yeah, okay. All hands rising, motion is carried. And just so you know, I'm just following the municipal guide, our policy conducting a meeting. So not like I don't want you asking questions. You are limited, and as long as everyone gets their chance. Okay, item 8.2 is a report from community. Oh, sorry. 8.3, report from administration. Any members of council have questions of Mr. Figlamini? Councillor Tedesco.
Mark, you point out that you've got meetings with McSweeney and Associates on site. What are the meetings with McSweeney and Associates? What's that about, please?
So that was an initial meeting. They actually were in Red Rock, 2 members last week. They met with Ashley, did a little initial site visit. Met briefly with Blair around some infrastructure and some numbers and dynamics around our infrastructure. Met with myself briefly, but pretty well spent most of the day, the half a day or the full day, I believe it was, and Ashley can confirm, but just with Ashley on an initial visit to Red Rock. I think it was one of, in the plan, I think it is one of 11 or 14 visits, Ashley, if I'm not mistaken. But so they were 2 members. Eric McSweeney was actually here himself, and another member of his team were here to start initial studies based on both the strategic plan as well as the RV park study.
Are McSweeney and Associates, are they involved with other issues with us?
No, just the two latest RFPs that were awarded to their company based on again the strategic plan and the RV.
I meant the strategic plan. Were they there with regards to the strategic plan?
They definitely gathered information on both. It was one of the benefits that we ended up by having them be the successful proponent of both RFPs. We were able to tie a lot of their travel into both projects. So that was, again, a very initial kind of feet on the ground in Red Rock, pretty well 100% related to discussions between Blair and Ashley.
Okay. And one quick one, asset management, where are we at with asset management in the municipality?
So asset management is actually right on stage. It's right on par. We've completed the first 4 stages of the asset management plan and signed an agreement for the compliance piece. I received an email actually this afternoon based on the next piece of this asset management plan moving forward. So we will begin the compliance piece. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they were looking for confirmation of a scheduled date to begin that part of it, January 6th. So we're very close. We will be able to meet our deadline of July for that part of the compliance, July of 2022.
Very good, thank you.
Councillor Muir?
The good work on the diligence with the updates for COVID-19, all the postings that are being put out on social media with regards to changes and stuff, and everyone being on the ball in the township. And as well, good job on the financial report there for the variance reports. I know that's something we've been looking for a long time, and I know now that you're getting it all sorted out with the new program. Really looking forward to those, and thanks for all the hard work with that.
Oh, thanks. I mean, definitely, I have to give a lot of credit to the team we have on the COVID-19 jumping right into action, as we definitely saw a spike in cases. I mean, it was definitely a team effort, and you know, getting that information out and being very cautious. I mean, it's ultimately the best plan of attack right now, and I mean, I think we have to take it very seriously, and that's what we're doing. We've enhanced a lot of the requirements into our facilities, and if you're in the arena in the next little bit, you'll notice a lot stricter sign-in restrictions right at the doors as well. So yeah, no, I'll definitely pass that message on. And again, and just say thanks that everybody really stepped up, and things came together nicely that day. That's for sure.
Are there any other questions or comments on Mark's report? I just a discussion on the financial documents. So we're no longer going to be seeing them in our council packages. I don't know if you want to explain a little bit how, you know, you've reached out to.
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
Yeah. So and as we were just talking into that variance report piece, right? It's definitely the way that is the way we should be moving forward with. So those documents on the variance or on the vouchers will no longer be a part of the everyday council agenda. But again, if council you know, ever wants to see any of that information, that's available for council to see. With but just some of the discussions with municipal affairs and housing based on everyday day-to-day operations and decisions that should be made on that exact day-to-day operations of your municipality have led to this and the changes that we should be making, and the changes that we will implement moving forward.
Okay, thank you for that. Oh, Councillor Muir.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. The variance report is what we need to see, and not those vouchers, to be honest with you. So no, this is heading in the right direction.
And on the variance, as a small update there, I have met with our auditors. I believe it was Thursday of last week, Thursday or Friday. They're very much in tune of where we are in that piece, and we've had discussions, and we'll continue them in January, around tying in some of their IT professionals at BDO into our exact Munisoft software system. They do not have the skill set and the knowledge of Munisoft themselves as well, but they have what they explained to me as a very good IT section within their company, that they're more than willing to share that knowledge with us and help us and guide us in the training. As I've had those discussions with staff, more than open and excited to have this. So we're hoping to have that whole Munisoft software system sorted out in the not so distant future. So we are moving forward on that as well.
Okay, are there any other questions or comments? Okay, seeing none. Is there a mover and seconder for a motion to approve the report? Councillor Muir. Councillor Tedesco. Okay, all in favor? Seeing all hands rising, motion is carried. Okay. Okay, the next item is a bylaw to confirm proceedings of council. Can I have a mover and seconder for a motion to pass the bylaw? Councillor Muir. Councillor Park. All in favor? Okay, motion is carried. Okay, so that's it for our meeting. I just want to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Stay safe, wear your mask, social distance. Otherwise, you're in isolation. So the time being 7:36. I'd like to call this meeting to order or adjourned. Sorry. Good night, everyone.